Trick or treat, trick or treat, trick or treat for Halloween. Better give a treat that's good to eat if you want to keep life serene.
Hello darlings, it's Tess and welcome back to Vlogoween. Today I'm going to be showing you the prep that I did for the actual night of Halloween because I had a plan of what I wanted to do because my party was on the 29th because it was, that was when Saturday was, it was a weekend. I'm not exactly going to have a party on a Monday. But I wanted to have something to do on the 31st, which was a Monday. So what I wanted to do was take one of my pumpkins, because I ended up having two. You can see me gutting one of them here to take out all the gross stuff and make it easier to carve later. But I wanted to go to our local town square with my trick-or-treat sign and basically hand out all of my leftover candy. And I wanted to do that just because I knew it'd be fun, but also because I really do have a bunch of leftover candy that I needed to give out, like way more than I could possibly eat, even with my impossibly large sweet tooth. So I printed out this witchy looking trick-or-treat sign and then went over the ink with some permanent marker just to make it a little bit stronger. And then I went over that in dry brushing some bronze paint, which was really fun. I wanted it to kind of look like a really weathered sign. So I got some of my metallic bronze, or maybe copper, whatever the shade is that you might want to call it. And I used the least amount of paint possible on my brush to go over it to create this really kind of papery look, or paper, wood, something like that. Eventually I started putting it onto the cardboard sign, which I had recycled from another project. I decided to edge it with some of this brown paper that I got in a package, just to go over the edges and just like unify the whole project a little bit by folding it over and just creating that single layer to combine the printed paper with the words on it with the cardboard that I glued that paper to. So there you can see the other side that was the old project that I did. I recycle my art supplies as much as I possibly can. So here I am putting the recycled brown paper onto the recycled cardboard from the other project, and I tore it along rather than having it straight because, you know, I'm not gonna do anything that you would expect and have it be straight. Like, I didn't want it to be straight because I'm not even straight and my art definitely isn't straight, so I went with torn. Anyway, so then I had a lot of fun with the actual best part of the pumpkin carving. All of the disgustingness of the seeds and the guts and the strings and everything else that you need to yank out were all gone. So I was just able to put on my Halloween YouTube playlist and just sit on the floor on my special pumpkin carving orange tablecloth to make sure I didn't get anything on the carpet, but I wouldn't have anyway because all of the gross stuff was already out of it when I carved them in the kitchen. It was only just a few dry bits of the pumpkin that were available to fall on the floor at that point, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway, but obviously I put my tablecloth down anyway. So this first pumpkin, I decided to give it a smiley face, but then I wanted the eyes to be a little bit more interesting. So I initially cut a triangle for the right hand eye, but then I was like, I think I can turn this triangle into something better if I just keep going. So I kept cutting it here, as you can see, just a little bit along each time, so I could turn it into a star. And then the other side, I wanted to do a moon. So that was a little bit more difficult because it had to be curved in order to make the crescent moon. But I still think it looked really pretty. It did sit a little bit low, like the smiley face kind of leant down quite a lot with the height of the pumpkin, like it sort of touches the floor almost. Which is a little bit annoying. But then I moved on to carve my second pumpkin, which is a little bit smaller. I had gutted and cleaned out that one as well. And I wanted to do it matching because I didn't know which pumpkin I wanted to take with me to the town square. And at this point I was thinking of taking this one, the smaller one. So I thought I would match them. So this one is the star and the moon eye as well. I carved the moon a little bit too far down on this one though. So there wasn't really room for a smiley mouth, so instead I just gave it a little triangle for a nose and just hoped that, you know, people would, you know, think that was okay anyway. But unfortunately with this pumpkin, it seemed completely normal, but then it went insanely rotten before I even had time to take it to the town square. So I ended up having to take the other one instead, but, you know, at least this little one was still fun to carve. Then, to prepare for going to the square, I knew I wanted to give out some apples and as a healthy alternative, but also to give kids the opportunity to actually cast a real spell if they wanted to. So here I've got a spell that I will put down in the description that basically is adapted from old Celtic apple wishing rituals that I was researching. I decided to put it together into something that would be easy for kids to do and easy to understand. So I typed it on a piece of paper, printed it out, but of course it's far too black and white and it looks far too boring, nothing that a kid would associate with a witch. So I went over it in all of my watercolor and then tore along the edges to just sort of make that more interesting as well. I was thinking about burning it, but I decided to go with the tearing in the end. It took a hot minute and there was paper fragments all over our coffee table after doing it, but it was still, you know, it's a test project. I can't go anywhere without being extra, being crafty and witchy in this example, two of my biggest qualities. Okay guys, I am really awkwardly squatting because I don't have time to take my camera off its tripod when it's low down, but I'm about to head into the town square for my trick-or-treat handing out. I've got my candy, I've got my apples, I've got my spells. I've got my wand to bless the candy in case the kids want it. I've got my hat, I've got my cape, and as you can see, I've got my flower crown as well. And, ooh, stripy tights, glittery boots. Let's go. Let's talk more rock. And then I headed off, and this was my setup there. I had my pumpkin, I had my basket of apples, and then my cauldron of candy that I actually kept in my lap there with my wand, so that way I could control how much was being taken. That ended up being something that didn't really matter because I didn't get that many kids and I had a bunch left over. So I took this candy cauldron of what I had left over and my leftover apples and spells and just put them in the lobby of our apartment building next to my treat bags. I came home to this thank you card from a little girl who lives in our apartment. She had taken her treats that she got from her bag, her art supplies, and made a thank you card. And this is spooky chocolate bark and ghosty marshmallows that a friend of my mum's made. So this was my ultimate goodbye to Halloween here. I put my floral crown on my little happy jack-o'-lantern, and of course I had to put the purple lights in there. This has been my first ever Vlogoween, and it's been so much fun. It's given me so much positive energy and so much to look forward to. So thank you guys so much for being here, for all of you new subscribers that have come because of Halloween. I hope my content can be equally joyful and interesting for you as we move in beyond Halloween and I go back to my regular routine of witchiness and chaotic vlogs and craft and all of the other non-Halloween things that I hope you find just as entertaining and inspiring as you did Vlogoween. So please subscribe. I would love to see more of you, and comment down below what you did for Halloween. I would absolutely love to know. And remember, I love you, keep going.
Punky pumpkins, happy pumpkin, and do